responsible for any damage that may occur except for normal wear and tear. It's common language in rental agreements, but the question is, what is normal when it comes to wear and tear? This is important because if the landlord thinks your wear and tear is abnormal, it's going to cost you. Here to help us understand what is normal and what's not is our own real estate expert, John Adams. Are you normal?
Yes, and let's say normal versus excessive as opposed to abnormal.
All right, that's probably better. Where do we start here?
Well, the key is this is all dependent on the security deposit. The security deposit, sometimes called a damage deposit, is there to secure the performance of the tenant under the terms and conditions of the lease agreement. So,
performance, huh?
Performance, right. So what do we have to perform? Well, obviously we have to pay rent, that's one. But beyond that, we are required to return the property to the landlord in the same condition that it was on the day we moved in, normal wear and tear accepted.
All right, let's define that term, normal wear and tear.
Well, unfortunately, Georgia law does not define that.
A little gray.
It's a little gray area, but I've come up with a working definition here. One definition would be the normal deterioration that might take place when the property is being used, assuming the tenant takes care of the property and cleans it regularly. Normal deterioration. This is as opposed to excessive or really beyond what you would think of as normal deterioration. This person just didn't maintain the property.
Okay, so what does Georgia law, you said doesn't define this, what does Georgia law say about this?
Georgia law says that if I'm the landlord and you're the tenant, when you move in, we're going to create a move-in inspection list. And we're going to list every item that is a problem on this list. You sign it, I sign it, and that becomes the definitive list. The key here is most people are in a hurry to get in. They don't pay a lot of attention to the move-in, and if there's a cracked window pane and it's not on that list, you are responsible for it.
Interesting. So typical deterioration or normal deterioration, what does that mean?
What would normal deterioration be? All right, some examples would be faded paint, excuse me, or carpet, simply because of sunlight. You know, you've seen that situation. I mean, paint's going to last 3 or 4 years. Picture holes, nail holes in the wall, provided it's not excessive. Broken plumbing due to normal use. Okay, so you try to flush the cat and it clogs that's not going to work. But normal carpet wear from normal use, or just a worn kitchen counter. These are things that would be considered normal wear and tear.
So what about walls that need to be painted? If they were painted when you moved in, they should be painted when you move out?
Well, not necessarily. If they are still in reasonably good condition, it's not your responsibility to paint them, because the courts will assume that you're going to have to replace the carpet every 3 or 4 years anyway. You're going to have to paint from time to time. That's considered normal wear and tear.
All right, let's talk about what might be some examples of damage that these landlords are looking for.
Since we're talking about painting, if you paint an unauthorized color in a room, that's considered damage, because I'm now going to have to go in and paint it again to get it back the way that it was. So that's an example. If you have some broken doors or some broken screens, or let's say the toilet lid gets broken in two. I see that.
Normal wear and tear, no?
It's just somebody jumping up and down on it. And then a very common one in a house with a fireplace is somebody that has a burn that was not there before. Clearly, that is abuse, and you're going to be held liable for that. You're going to have to pay for it.
All right, so what do we need to do? I guess we need to be a little more, pay closer attention on the front end.
One of the things we are beginning to see is that the courts in Georgia are becoming more receptive to digital evidence. Now, the court doesn't have to accept it, but if you come in with 100 photographs and say, these pictures were taken on the day I moved in, I provided copies to the landlord, and they document everything that's on the move-in inspection list, that becomes part of your evidence, and the judge is going to make a decision based on that. However, this can be a two-edged sword. The problem is if it shows that you really did do a poor job taking care of the property, or you really did damage it, that's going to be proof that you're responsible.
Have to go to a little expense here to do that, I guess.
Yeah, but we're talking 100 pictures, what, $10? just getting the prints done. So
Right.
we're not talking about a lot of money here. And I would say the #1 dispute between landlords and tenants has to do with this issue of normal wear and tear. So we really need to document this up front, make sure we have it in writing with that move-in inspection, and that's your best bet for not having to pay for things you're not responsible for.
I was renting a house one time, and the dog put a little tear in the screen on the screen door.
Yep.
And that's how I learned to replace screens.
Every time.
Trying to get that security deposit back. John, thanks a lot. John Adams is going to be here for the next hour, hosting a Facebook chat on all topics real estate, including the issue of normal wear and tear. Just go to the Fox 5 Facebook page.